great players. They have a great organization. And you tell them one thing.
What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raiders related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's jump right into the topic of this video. With the Las Vegas Raiders in the market for a quarterback, and with us meeting with several different quarterback prospects at the combine this year, it's fair to assume the Raiders may seriously consider drafting a quarterback in the first round of this year's NFL draft. Now, what quarterback would the Raiders consider and who should they select? The top prospects are Alabama's Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis. With the Raiders selecting at number 7 overall, it puts us in a very tricky situation because you may have to move up to get your guy in this year's draft. The guy who has been a name potentially linked to the Raiders is Florida's Anthony Richardson. Richardson had himself a great combine. We were able to interview with him physically. Our general manager Dave Ziegler was physically present at one of his college games this past season. Anthony Richardson, according to reports, is starting to shoot up people's draft boards, and it seems like he more than likely will not be available at number 7 if the Raiders want to bring him in as their next quarterback. According to reports, it is rumored that he may even go as far as number 1 overall, where a team would trade with the Chicago Bears for that number 1 overall selection. Now, should the Raiders seriously consider moving up that far? And if they do, should they draft Anthony Richardson? We have already stated in the past that it would cost a lot to move up that far in this year's draft. Very likely about 2 first-round picks, 2 second-rounders, and maybe even like a 3rd rounder as well. So yes, that is a lot of draft capital to give up. And if we did, should we take the most raw overall quarterback prospect, who is, in my opinion, the biggest gamble at quarterback in this year's draft? Look, I understand Anthony Richardson is an absolute physical specimen and he has so much upside and potential, but if we're going to be honest, the only reason someone would take him this high is based just off of that, his potential. Look, I understand he looked awesome at the combine, but you always got to value the tape over the combine 100% of the time. And when you look closely at Anthony Richardson's tape, you realize he has major flaws to his game. His overall mechanics as a quarterback is all over the place. He misses a lot of wide open throws at the college level too. In the NFL, you're not going to get wide open throws like he did in college. Doesn't have a whole lot of starting experience. And overall, like I said, he's the most raw prospect in this year's draft, especially when you compare him to guys like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. Anthony Richardson, in my opinion, is a guy who will not be ready next year as well. You know, at least at the very start of the season, week 1 next season. Maybe you can get him out there like mid-season, or at the very least, maybe he's not the full-time starter. You can get him in red zone situations or short yardage situations, but I do think he needs a lot of time to develop as an overall passer, to work on his mechanics, try to fix those accuracy issues. And even when he gets out there, there's most definitely going to be a learning curve for him. With a guy that's only got 1 year under his belt, with him being so young as well, that's gonna happen. Also, another factor to really consider is, okay, if you're going to go out there and take a huge gamble on a guy like Anthony Richardson, then that should just tell me that us as a fan base should be completely sold on our coaching staff and our head coach Josh McDaniels to develop this young man, Anthony Richardson, into a potential franchise quarterback. And let's be honest, how many of us are really that confident in our coaching to develop such a raw young prospect like Anthony Richardson? Look, I know I'm not. We're all kind of up in the air when it comes to Josh McDaniels. If we had a track record of a good coaching staff that has done really good with developing players, and look, I can definitely see the logic, the mindset. But look, if Anthony Richardson is available at number 7 overall, then sure, you can make a case to take a gamble on him, even though I would still be hesitant in doing so. But for sure, I do not think it would be a good decision for the Raiders to trade up for Anthony Richardson. I think we need a more developed quarterback like a CJ Stroud at this point in time. And if we are going to trade up in this year's draft, let's trade up to like number 3 or ideally number 5 if one of the quarterbacks begin to fall. Instead of moving up that far in the draft to the number 1 overall spot, you're going to have to give up a whole lot. And if Anthony Richardson's stock continues to rise, then that will more than likely help increase the chances of a guy like CJ Stroud potentially falling in this year's draft. And that should really give us a much better chance to draft him this season. And personally, that's what I'm really hoping for continues to happen. It really seems like the Anthony Richardson hype is continuing to rise. I can kind of see the mindset behind it, but ultimately, man, I think there's too many big question marks with this guy. And he's the biggest gamble in this draft, but at the same time, man, we are in Las Vegas, so that would be quite ironic. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Would you guys be willing to trade up for Anthony Richardson? But with that being said, Raider Nation, that's all I have for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raiders related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.